Greetings, Internet dwellers. I, John Lovelace, your Admiral, is here talking to you again about things you need to know, important things that help you improve your life and make you better, stronger, and faster. Thank you for joining us. And before we get into today's video, I want you to go ahead and click the like button and subscribe to this channel and support us. We thank you so much for doing that. All right. Now, today, we're going to talk about something that's vitally important because no matter what you're doing in life, no matter what you're trying to accomplish, it takes energy to do it, right? I mean, whether you're trying to pass an exam and you're up all night studying, whether or not you're working long hours at the office, whether or not you're, exercising, training for some kind of event, whether or not you're, just doing chores around the house, playing with your kids, everything we do in life requires energy. We have to have energy to function. But when you're young and vital and you're in your 20s, then energy generally is not a source of problem. But as we get older, in our 30s and certainly into our 40s and 50s, sometimes energy does become an issue. Perhaps you're not sleeping well. Perhaps you wake up tired. Perhaps you just perhaps you start out pretty good, but you get part of the way through the day and you crash and it's about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you can't hold your eyes open anymore. Energy issues are a problem. And if you're like me, you watch young kids play and you long for the days when you felt that good, when you had so much energy. Well, there are things that you can do to help increase your energy, generally speaking. Now, your energy deficit or your lack of energy may be coming from one or two major reasons, all right? Different categories. So category number one, the problem may be medical. And I know for a fact that when I was fighting cancer for 7 years, my energy was a huge issue. I was anemic and I couldn't get, any vitamins and minerals and stuff in my blood, and my blood count was low, and that kept my whole body low on energy. And so I was crashing all the time. I would get up tired. I would work tired. I would come home, eat supper, and fall asleep in the chair in the living room. I mean, it just was a miserable existence. Post-transplant, all my blood levels returned to normal. And now my energy level is not through the roof necessarily. I don't feel like I did whenever I was 16, but I feel 100 times better. I felt like I could run 100 miles after that when my blood levels went back to normal. So it's a super big deal to have sufficient energy, and your energy deficit might be due to some medical related problem. So I'm going to give you a list of things that you can do and tweak in your lifestyle to get more energy. But if those things are not working, it may be a sign that there's something more serious going on. You may have something going on with your blood work. You may have something going on in your body, and you may need a doctor's assistance. You may have sleep problems, sleep apnea, something to that effect. So I recommend that if the things that we're talking about today don't help you and don't boost your energy level, then there's some things that you should do, and considering going, like going to a doctor, that would help you and be beneficial to help figure out why you don't have any energy. But that's medical problems are generally a small segment of the populace as far as why you don't have any energy. For the most part, most of us just have poor lifestyle problems. We don't sleep enough. We work too much. We don't eat properly, things like that. So what I have for you today, if you fall into that category, and those are the kinds of things that I can help you resolve. If you fall into that category, there are 19 things that I can give you, pointers and advice on how to have more energy in your life. And these things are crucial because, man, if you want to be successful, you got to have the drive and the energy to accomplish it. And if you don't, then you fall by the wayside and the competition quickly overtakes you. All right. So of all our pointers, all our 19 things, they break that into 3 categories. Okay. So the category number 1 are physical things that you can do in your body, changes to your diet, your exercise, your sleep patterns, things like that. Okay. So number 1 thing that you can do to boost some energy, caffeines and multivitamins. All right, these are the only 2 drugs I recommend, and only caffeine judiciously, okay? Because if you drink too much caffeine late in the evenings, then it actually hurts your ability to sleep. But a little caffeine in the morning, like I said, in moderate amounts, can actually give you a boost of energy and increase sharpness and increase focus. So that's a good thing. It helps you through the day. After about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, too much caffeine does become a detriment. It makes it hard to wind down in the evening and hard to go to sleep. And then if you can't sleep, obviously you don't rest and you wake up tired the next day. So you got to use caffeine smartly. Caffeine in the morning, early hours, even around noon or 1 o'clock, not a big deal. After 3 or 4, it becomes a problem. So be smart about your caffeine intake. Now, if you're pounding multiple cups of coffee every day just to stay awake, caffeine's not the answer. It won't help you. So just, like I said, a little caffeine in the morning helps get you going. That's a cool thing. The other thing I recommend is a multivitamin. There are certain nutrients and minerals that a person needs, and if you're eating a fast-paced, on-the-go diet, fast food, things like that, a lot of times you aren't getting all the diet, nutrients that you need. And so a good, multivitamins you can buy over the counter at any department store would probably be helpful and beneficial to you. So that's number 1, caffeine and multivitamins. Number 2, exercise and lose weight. I mean, that just makes sense. When you exercise, your body releases certain chemicals and it makes you feel good. It pumps you up and it gives you more energy through the day. Even though you may be kind of tired from the physical exertion, your body is conditioning itself to be more resilient to stress and strain. And therefore it responds by having more energy. Maybe not the first day, but later on down the road, it will absolutely do that. Plus, losing weight is huge because if you lose weight, your overall system is less strained. Your heart works less hard, your lungs, kidneys, liver, the whole 9 yards. Okay, the less weight you have on yourself, then the more easily your body functions, more efficiently your body functions, the less energy it takes to do all the normal things that you do. Okay, so that's important. Plus, in addition to that, just think about it. The lighter you are, the easier it is to move you around, the less effort it takes to get you from point A to point B because you weigh less pounds. So that just makes sense. So diet and exercise, losing weight, huge boost to energy. I know there was a big difference in me when I came out of post-transplant and I had lost like 30 or 40 pounds. I felt much, much better. Okay, so that would be helpful to you as well. Number 3, don't smoke. Smoking's bad for your health. What it does to the lungs and everything. But what you don't realize also is that nicotine can be a stimulant and it causes cravings. All right, so this can keep you awake at night. Now, a lot of people will say, I smoke to relax, but the medical research is that nicotine actually is a stimulant that will cause you sometimes to not be able to fall asleep well. Okay, in addition to that, the cravings may actually wake you up in the middle of the night wanting the nicotine. So I recommend that you wean yourself off of nicotine, get away from nicotine, quit smoking for the obvious health benefits, because if your lungs and your heart are working harder because of the damage that smoking is doing to you, then obviously that hurts your energy. But not only that, nicotine as a drug just doesn't help your overall energy output. Number 4, you got to eat for energy. Okay, eating foods with a low glycemic index will help your body have more energy. Okay, now low glycemic index means that they have complex and not simple sugars, okay, or no sugars. All right, so things that are high in protein, or like lean meat and things like that, almost no glycemic index. But even things like starchy things like potatoes and carrots and sweet potatoes and stuff like that have a lower glycemic index than things like sugar, candy bars, soda, things like that. So that's why a lot of times you'll see people when they're droopy and they're down will hit a candy bar or a soda or something like that for a quick energy boost. When that sugar hits your system, then it pops up and you have a lot of energy suddenly, but then your body goes into producing more insulin to bring that sugar back down. So a lot of times that spike in energy is then followed by a slump in energy. Okay, so that's not good. That energy doesn't last. It's just a Band-Aid. It's just temporary. So what you want to do are eat foods that are low in glycemic index. They don't have a lot of simple refined sugars in them, and so for your body, your energy level will stay more regulated, more normal, more natural. Make sense? Okay. Limit alcohol. Alcohol is a depressant. Alcohol slows you down. Okay. So if you're the kind of person that has a beer when you wake up in the morning, it's a recipe for disaster. You're not going to have a lot of energy from that. Even if you enjoy a mid-afternoon cocktail or an evening nightcap, these things are all things that slow you down, wind you down, cause you to be sleepy, cause you to be depressed, cause you to be not depressed like sad, but depressed, you have less energy. Okay. And so that's why that alcohol should only be used at an opportunity in a time setting in a frame when you don't mind to not have a lot of energy. So when it's late in the evening and you're winding down for bed and you want to have, a refreshment of some kind, nothing necessarily wrong with that as far as your body's concerned, because you're going to bed anyway, and that may actually help you fall asleep. So those are good things. But like I said, if you're using alcohol through the work day, then you're just hurting your ability to process and be alert and be awake. Okay. Number 7, avoid extra sugar. We just talked about that with the glycemic index. The more sugar you have, the worse it affects your blood sugar. Okay. Number 8, sleep disorders. Now, approximately 30% of North Americans do not get enough sleep every night or complain of poor quality of sleep. So if you may actually have a sleep disorder, and if that's the case, then you may want to go and have a sleep study done. You may have sleep apnea or some other thing. You may need medicine, or you may need a sleeping device to help you breathe at night so that you can get better, more restful sleep. All right. The next set of things we're going to talk about are things that fall into mental categories, things that you need to change the way you think, the way you organize your mind in your day, how you approach things, how you deal with stress, those kinds of things. And those will actually boost your energy. So number 9, don't talk so much. All right. A lot of people just go on about themselves all the time. They're either bragging about themselves or they're complaining about their issues. And what these people are really seeking when they do that is validation. You're trying to draw other people into your situation to make you feel better about yourself. And when you don't get the kind of reaction that you want, you exert more energy, more effort to try and do that. Now, it used to be back in the day, if you wanted to do that, you had to stand around the water cooler at work and waste time and resources jabbing it up to other people. or gabbing it up to other people. But nowadays with social media, it's easier than ever to rant and rave and go on about whatever's going on in your life, because you're addicted to the likes and the retweets and the shares and all that stuff. And it's exhausting to try to get all that positive feedback that you're looking for. Keep your business to yourself. And I'm not saying that you can't share events and things going on in your life, but when you're working so hard to be the center of attention on social media or even in the workplace, then it becomes an exhausting effort, and you would save a lot more energy just keeping your head down and focusing on what you need to do. Number 10, motivation versus process. Now, this is kind of important because motivation versus process is a interesting conception. All right. When you are working towards a goal and you can see the goal in the distance, and maybe let's say you're running a race and there's the finish line and you're trying to get to it, and the guy behind you is pressing on strong. At that moment, something will happen in your brain. Your endorphins will fire, adrenaline starts to be released, and you'll have a burst of energy to help you finish the process and get done. And you push through and you win the race because you got all that extra energy at the last minute. Yeah. All right. But what happens when you can't see the finish line? What happens when you're in the middle of a 10-mile race and you're by yourself and you're just running on the path, on the road? At that point, it becomes really, really hard to maintain that enthusiasm and all that adrenaline and all that emotional and hormone stuff going on in your body. It gets hard to do that. And so because of that, it becomes fatiguing to you. You start to wind down. You start to get tired. Okay. The same thing is true even if you're not doing something physical. Let's say you're in the middle of a big project for school or for work, and it may take you several days to get the thing done. And you're halfway through it and you've been at it for hours, and you're sitting there and your eyes are starting to turn bloodshot and you're winding down. Your body is slowing down. Your body is coming to a halt because you can't see the finish line. You don't know how long it's going to take. Your enthusiasm for the project is gone. Your motivation for the project is gone. You have no reason to continue. And so your body just naturally wants to give up on it. In that moment, the thing you have to do is focus not on your goal, not on the end result, not on the thing you're trying to achieve, but to focus on the process. Focus on the next thing you have to do. Focus on the step. Okay. If you're running a race, you focus on putting one foot in front of the other. Focus on the air. Focus on the birds singing. Focus in the moment where you are right now and not where you want to be eventually, because it's sometimes very hard to translate that future motivation into the present moment. So you have to turn what you're doing right now into something that you enjoy. Okay, you have to enjoy the process. If you're studying, it has to be because you have to think, man, I love this material. I love studying this stuff. And you enjoy the process. Once you get in the process, once you get in the moment and really enjoy it, then at that point, it doesn't matter. You're not concerned about where the goal is, where the finish line is. And when you're not concerned about how quickly you're going to get to the finish, you'll be surprised about how quickly you actually do get there. Okay, hope that's helpful. Number 11, when things are bad, sometimes you have to focus on it. Now, this seems counterproductive to what I normally try to tell you guys, because what I normally tell you is focus on good things. All right. Focus on what you want to achieve. Focus on how you're going to be happy. Focus on how it's going to feel when you lose that weight or whatever the case may be. But sometimes it's very, very hard, as I just said a moment ago, to translate that future envisioned happiness into motivation in the current moment. And when you're having trouble getting that fairy tale that you want to dream about to make sense to you right now, and sometimes it helps to focus on the thing that's going on right now that you hate. Okay, so if you're overweight, focus on how fat you feel. If you're lonely and depressed, focus on that. Focus on how much you hate being by yourself. If you're stuck in a bad job and you can't stand it, then focus on the job that you can't stand and how much you want to get away from that job. All right, now, be careful with this, all right? Because the reason I'm telling you to do this is that when those emotions that generate from that, right? Anger and frustration can be powerful motivators. When you have had it with something and you can't take it anymore and you're just done with it, I can't deal with this anymore, then sometimes that is a powerful motivator to boost your energy level to do something about it. But this is a dangerous path to walk, so I want to caution you, because it works as long as you're mad and not sad. If thinking about those negative things begins to make you sad, if you begin to feel sorry for yourself, if you begin to feel like nothing's ever going to change, if you begin to feel like you're never going to escape this situation, if you begin to feel like nothing ever works out for you, then that anger turns into sadness. And when it becomes sadness, all motivation fades away and is completely gone. So you can use anger to focus and channel your energy into motivation and energy to do things. All right. But you have to be careful. You have to do it from the attitude and from the approach of, I'm changing this. This is not going to be this way anymore, that I'm doing something about this. And the minute that it becomes, I'm stuck like this, then the whole thing goes out the window. So be very, very, very careful with that. All right. Number 12, be honest about your goals. All right. What motivates you? You just know what it is that makes you motivated. All right. I've got a friend who's an avid video game player, and man, he plays Sony PlayStation, and he loves platinuming video games. And it's important to him, man. Every game that he plays, he really makes it's important that he achieves all of the goals, right? He gets all the most kills in a level, quickest time to complete the game, all these little things. And you get little trophies for doing those things, and they're ranked like silver, bronze, and gold, right? And once you complete all of the categories, once you have all of the trophies, you get the illustrious platinum trophy. And so he gets what he calls he platinums games by getting all of the trophies. Now, you might say to yourself, well, that's ridiculous. I mean, these are imaginary games and they're fake trophies that don't matter about anything. Why would he focus on that? It doesn't matter why. He loves it. He enjoys it. It means a lot to him. And he's honest about it. And he's not ashamed of it. And he doesn't hide it. All right. Now, a lot of us in the world focus on trying to deceive people and make people think that the reason we're doing things are something other than what they really are. All right. So you may have decided that you were going to take a job in another city, and you told everybody, well, it's because I want to move up in the company. When truthfully, you wanted to move to that city anyway because it's a warmer climate. Maybe you left your girlfriend and it was because she's naggy and needy and you just couldn't deal with it anymore. But the truth is that wasn't really it. The truth is you're afraid of commitment and you want to just date other people. All right. You could have a lot of reasons for whatever it is that you say you're doing things, but the couched, hidden, secret reason might actually be something else. And that's kind of bad for motivation because you're all the time covering up what your secret desires are. Sometimes it's better and more refreshing and more helpful and invigorating to just be honest about what it is. So if you're all about the money, then just admit that and go with it. Say, man, I just want to make more money. If you're all about dating as many girls as possible, then just, I'm not saying it's healthy, but I'm just saying don't lie about it. Just be honest. If you're about being as lazy as possible and doing as little as you can, then just be upfront about it. Whatever it is, and again, I'm being a little facetious, but whatever it is that motivates you will make you more excited about your day, okay? And if you're honest with it and you're upfront with it and you don't try to hide it. All right, number 13, learn to deal with stress. This is probably the biggest thing in the mental category because when we're stressed out, when we're aggravated, when we're frustrated, it's very, very, very hard for us to be motivated and have energy, okay? Again, motivation equals energy. Generally speaking, unless you have a physical problem. If it's just a mental problem, then motivation equals energy because the minute that you become motivated, your body begins to release the chemicals and there'll be a boost in energy. It just naturally happens. But when you're stressed, when you can't deal with things, when you got problems in your life, you got issues with your family, you got issues in your job, you got whatever you're dealing with that's frustrating or bringing you down, that stress will destroy your motivation and destroy your energy. So you have to learn to cope with stress. And if you need to speak to somebody to help you deal with your stress, a psychiatrist or whatever, don't be afraid to do that. Sometimes you have to reach out and seek help when you need it. Okay. Now, the last few categories real quick, and I know we've run long, are routine changes. All right. These are things that you can do in the course of your day to help you get more energy. Okay. These are changes to your daily activities and your schedules and whatnot. All right, number 14, we're in the home stretch now. Go to sleep early, wake up early. Our Benjamin Franklin is famous for his saying that says, early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. All right, first, it's important to go to bed early because you just need a lot of sleep. I mean, a lot of people want to tell you, man, I burn the midnight oil. I stay up all night and I get up early and I'm getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep at night. You're only doing yourself a disservice because you're a zombie the next day. And if you're not one day, you will be the second day and for sure the third day that you do that in a row, okay? So, don't do that. Get plenty of sleep. Go to bed early. Get your at least 7 hours, maybe 8. Some people need a little more. Some people need a little less. But try to get 7, 8 hours of sleep if you can. And then be ready to get up early because when you get up early, man, it's really motivating, at least for me especially, to get up early in the day, do my workout. Sometimes before the sun comes up, I'm up doing my workout. Eating breakfast, showering, getting ready for work, and being at work on time. And I started the day sometimes at 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, man, sometimes I feel like that old Army commercial. I do more before 9 a.m. than some people do all day. Okay, it's just, it makes you feel really good when you've already knocked out a bunch of your stuff before everybody else is even going. All right, so that's something that's really crucial because that feeling of accomplishment and empowerment that comes with being active and being, at it early gives you fuel and motivation that lasts all day long. It really, really, really does help. All right, number 15, take baby steps on every goal. All right, so every goal that you have, whatever your day is, don't try to accomplish any one huge big project in a day if you don't have to. It's much, much easier to accomplish small little baby step goals, okay? And the easiest thing to do then is to break down your big projects into steps. This is a project that I need to complete, and I got 13 parts. All right, and the reason that you break them down into parts is because your brain really doesn't have the ability to differentiate too much between big accomplishments and small accomplishments. If you accomplish something huge, then yeah, you're on cloud nine. But even if you accomplish small, mundane, regular tasks, your brain still gets a kick from that. You still get a kick of endorphins and stuff from that. All right, so when you break down big tasks into small tasks and you're accomplishing boom, 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 little tasks like that, it keeps your motivation and your energy and your enthusiasm level high so that you can power through and get all of the tasks done. Okay, so break things down into small individual tasks that you can check off and say, I got that, I got that, I got that, I got that. The feeling of accomplishment works wonders. Create rituals. Here's something else. I spoke about my workout routine. Create rituals through your day to boost your energy. When you have rituals, things that you do every day and things that you look forward to, it helps boost your energy. Like I said, I actually looked forward to getting up at 5 a.m. I actually look forward to going out before sunup and doing a 2-mile hike. I actually look forward to coming in and making my own breakfast. And I actually look forward to about half an hour to 45 minutes of weightlifting before I shower and get ready and go to work. It's a routine. And I have this routine, and I've gotten so used to the routine that any morning that I don't get to do it, because something either disrupts my schedule or I don't feel well or it's raining outside or whatever, really messes me up. Man, I can't stand it when my routine gets disrupted. You can work routines into anything. You work routines into your work day, into your study schedule, into your playtime with your kids, whatever your routine is. When you create routines, you create a memorized pattern of behavior that your brain anticipates and looks forward to. And it gets pleasure from it and releases all those positive neurochemicals that you need to make you feel good. And it gives you energy and enthusiasm to do it. Okay. So create rituals. It will help you get through the day. 17, avoid technology from time to time. All right. And as I sit here and I've talked to you on this recording using technology and the internet to get to you, I understand the hypocrisy of my statement, but technology can be a bad thing. When you use it too much, when you go too far, then it's an issue. Okay. So, if you just are sending an email or you're sending a fax or you're checking your bank account online or whatever you're doing, and you could just do that thing and walk away from it, then technology is a powerful tool. Helps you get more done. We can do more today than ever before because of the power of technology. But you can get easily sidetracked with technology, especially on the internet, social media, YouTube videos, TikTok, whatever the case may be. It's so easy to get sidetracked and waste an enormous amount of time. Now, I've done it. I know you've done it too. Don't tell me you've never looked up and said, oh my God, I've been sitting here watching cat videos for an hour or whatever it was. And you feel kind of guilty after you've killed a bunch of time just goofing off on the internet. And it's not a huge deal all the time. Sometimes it's okay to waste some time on the internet or on social media, on YouTube, whatever. Sometimes that's all right. But when it starts interfering and eating into your day, then it becomes a problem. It becomes a scheduling problem. It becomes an efficiency problem. You're not getting your work done. And then especially if you're using technology late into the night, okay? Because staring at, technology can be bad for you a couple ways. One, sitting in a computer chair like I am now can be bad for your posture if you do it for 8-10 hours a day, however long. And then two, staring at screens with your eyeballs for too long can be bad for your eyes. And staring at those bright white screens close to bedtime completely, all the neurological studies say, completely disrupt your sleep patterns. What I think they refer to it as blue light or something like that. Anyway, whatever that light is, and your phone a lot of times will have nighttime coloring shifts to make that less prevalent. So go into your iPhone or your Android or whatever and look for those settings. But that bright light right before bedtime, it makes it really, really hard to sleep. So if you're laying in the bed before you drift off at night, staring at your phone, looking at social media, then you're doing yourself a huge disservice. You're not going to sleep well. Put that thing down. I recommend that you stay off your phone about an hour or two before bedtime so that your body has a time to just process, and the natural darker light brings you to a place where you're ready to rest and ready to sleep. Number 18, we're almost there. Lighten your load. One of the main reasons fatigue is overwork. People pressing and working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week sometimes. it's not healthy. It's not good for you, and it will cause you major issues in your system. So you need to rest, you need to relax, and you need to not work so hard. Now, I know that you're accomplishing goals, right? I know that you want the promotion at work. I know you're trying to make extra money for your kids' college or to buy Christmas presents or whatever it is. And I'm not faulting you for that. I want you to work hard. But sometimes you need help, and sometimes it's not a problem, not a big deal to call other people in to help. All work and no play, as they say, makes Johnny a dull boy. And it's not just about being dull, it's also about being unhealthy, because at some point, if you don't get enough energy, you don't get enough rest, you will crash. You could have, some kind of breakdown or something. It happens to people. So don't overwork yourself, and be vigilant and do your work and work hard, but don't sacrifice your rest and your body's natural restorative processes like sleep and relaxation just to make a few more dollars. It's not worth it. All right, number 19, last one, be social. All right, and the feeling of isolation that so many of us have these days with social media. Social media is a conundrum because never have we had more opportunity and more ability to reach out to more people faster all across the world in an instant, boom, than we have today. Social media and the internet and phones make all that amazingly possible. You are more connected now than the human race has ever been. And at the same time, we've never felt more isolated and alone. Because staring at a phone, regardless of how many people read your tweets or see your Facebook post, staring at a phone is not the same as interacting with people. The human creature, the human animal, was made to interact face to face with other people. And if you're not doing that, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. That feeling of isolation and aloneness will wear down on you. There was a study, and I'm reading here, a study says in areas of the world with unusually low rates of disease and a higher number of centenarians, those are people, not centaurs, okay, those are horse people, centenarians, people who live to be over 100 years old, one of the common factors is a strong social support group, communities of people who come together and love on one another and be together and support one another, and they have that social interaction, that human connection. You've got to have that in your life. Here's the bottom line. If people are feeling tired, people have a lack of energy, they don't function their best through the day when they're like that. It's worth it to you to take whatever steps you need to take to have more energy. You will feel better, you will do better, you will have better, you will be better, stronger, faster. And that's what we're all about here at the John Lovell Show. Keep in mind that if the things I've told you are not helping you with your energy level, you may have something medically going on with your system that you need to talk to a doctor about. So don't hesitate to do that. I hope this information was helpful to you today. I'm sorry it was a really long video, but it was a ton of information. I hope that you enjoyed it. Send me some email. I want to hear from you. contact@johnloveless.com and go over to the website, johnloveless.com, and go to the blog. There's a whole blog post about this whole topic that you can read the whole thing there. I went over a lot of it, but there's more details there. Read that there. Interact with us. Check us out on the podcast here on YouTube and all the things we're doing. We thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Join the channel, be a part of the community. We thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, and in the meantime, my name is John, and you have a good day.